Welcome again, Sagittarius. It's October 2014. It's an important month this month because we have two eclipses taking place. And right now we see up till the 8th, which is when the total lunar eclipse takes place, some very powerful influences in your social sector. We've got Venus, the Sun, and the karmic node there. So a lot of karma associated with friends. We see too the fact that Venus, which is the ruler of your friendships, has, it's been in a bit of a bad state because the Sun has just passed over it. So the technical term of that is called combustion. And it can be exactly that. Either a friend has been burned by someone, they might have burnt you. You could be helping them through some difficult stage. In any case, the focus is there on someone who has either not been in a good state or who's maybe aggravated you a little bit. It could be the latter because we still see Mars, and we've had the moon there recently too, just in the last few days, passing over Mars. This is called Chandra Mangala Yoga, the Moon-Mars combination, making you rather fiery, rather emotionally reactive. And so for the first week of this month, we do see the focus in that particular area. Mercury is moving retrograde too from the 5th. That's in the 12th sector. But that does move back because of its retrograde motion into the 11th. As with the sign of Scorpio, I was talking to them about the issues of mistrust. And the 12th sector, which is where it is right now, could indicate, as it is moving back into the 11th house of friends, that you've got some sort of misgivings about someone. You may need to communicate something to them or renegotiate the terms of your friendship. Just get clarity in the understanding, but let me warn you, now's not the time to do that. You need to wait till the end of the month. I'd be doing a whole lot of fact-finding, information gathering, before you can come straight out and pull that baseball bat out from the back pocket and go, boom, boom. The reason I say that is because if you're premature in doing that, you might not only maybe overreact and overcompensate for that, but you might get other people offside there. So you've got to be careful. This is what I would call a balancing act socially for you during the month of October. Now the lunar eclipse is taking place in your 5th sector. So that's in the sign of Aries. 5th sector has to do with creativity, your children, has to do with your romance and love affairs. And it's interesting, we've talked about this for you in the past few months. Ketu, or the lunar south node, which is your past karma point, is there at this time. You may have been with someone in the past. Now either, what I'm seeing for some of you is that that person may come back into the scene, or even if they don't, there may be some information that comes to light, which really gives you that aha moment. You know what it's like? Sometimes we look at the past and all those negative events that happened to us and we go, geez, that was terrible, and oh man, what was I thinking? But this eclipse could be that moment where you don't resist and exhibit anger to your past. You actually realize that you are here where you are now because of that. And so that can be a very liberating sort of experience for you because you accept it. You accept what's happened in the past. And think about it. If you can accept what's happened in the past with an understanding that that has led you to this moment, to who you are now, then doesn't it sort of imply that you're accepting yourself as you are now? So I think that's very, very significant. That can be a sudden and explosive insight for some of you because we see the planet Uranus also in that area. Mind you, to the 5th sector, which I don't often mention here for practical purposes, has a lot to do with what we call spiritual initiation. So for some of you that have the ability to go back in the past and to, have that realization, this can be an immense sort of cycling upwards, an acceleration of your spiritual development and your spiritual evolution. And that's got to be a good thing. That divests you of all of that, you know, what we call in the vernacular, the baggage. It's sort of like letting the train of life carry your baggage rather than carrying it with you all the way. So that's very relieving, very uplifting, and very enlightening to many of you if you want to look at it that way. It's your choice. I mean, I'm just here telling you the possibilities of some of these planetary positions. And if you choose to look at it that way, well, good for you. You're going to be a happier person for it. There is another eclipse later in the month, not as significant. It's a partial solar eclipse that takes place on the 24th, again in that 12th house. The fact that you've got a lot of energy in that 12th house, this may have something to do with your own health. There may be some issues there. 12th house, which isn't often mentioned astrologically, is a sector of karma as well, a sector of spiritual liberation. And maybe, again, this is a perspective sort of look on how you feel, just as we mentioned about your relationships in the past. Looking at the crises that take place physically, if there's a physical crisis for some of you, that's a very, very powerful alarm bell. Alerting you to the lifestyle transgressions, if I could put it that way. So this is a call to you to reevaluate how you've been living, how you've been, you know, doing what you do. You know, sickness is in itself, it's not a good thing, but what it's trying to tell you is a good thing. And I think if you can look at this eclipse as being a big advertising billboard on your journey through life, read it. It's telling you what's going wrong here and where you may be falling down in terms of your health. Mercury goes forward again, back into the 11th house. Well, from the 11th house it goes forward. This is the time of the month when you'll have a lot more insight and clarity in the friendships area that I mentioned. Mars moves forward on the 26th, along with that, into your finance sector. So again, a shift. We'll go into more detail in that next month, but I think you'll start to see more focus on your finances at that time. And that could be rather intense too, because we've got Pluto sitting in your second sector there. It's going to be there for quite a few years, but Mars is going to activate that and bring with it a lot of power, a lot of drive, but so too some arguments and disputes if you're at odds with the people in your life who have slightly different philosophy over money. More on that next month. Hope you'll join me again then for this continuing saga, the life of Sagittarius. Do join me at my website, astrology.com. My producer sitting there, he's making me laugh. I don't know why, he didn't say anything, but it's just one of those moments. astrology.com.au, and I'll see you here again next month. Thank you. Bye-bye.